Hello and welcome to Money Tips. This is Charles Kelly. Well, in case you haven't been watching the news today, the country has, or virtually has, a new Prime Minister. Rishi Sunak will become the next UK Prime Minister, as he's now been voted in as party leader by MPs. This follows a period where last night at 10 o'clock, Boris Johnson dropped out of the race for leadership. And then at around about 10 minutes to 2, Penny Mordaunt, the other candidate, said, basically that she couldn't get enough votes. She needed 100 MP votes and she only got 90. I think Rishi ended up with 188. Boris apparently had 100 votes, but decided that he could not unite the party. There were so many people telling him, this is not your time. We don't want you. Bear in mind that these are the MPs that got rid of Boris in the first place. So why would they vote? Why would they want Boris in? Boris was the people's choice. He won a landslide election result. He was the people's choice, but he was not the MP's choice. So he is out. Penny Mordaunt, as I said, dropped out. So now Rishi Sunak becomes the party leader automatically. And later, either tonight or tomorrow, he'll go to visit King Charles at Buckingham Palace after Liz Truss goes to officially resign. She's still officially Prime Minister, but she will resign either tonight or tomorrow, and then will be closely followed by Rishi Sunak becoming the first Prime Minister of Asian descent, of Indian descent. He is a Hindu Indian, born and brought up in this country, I believe, but he's the first Prime Minister of colour, or of Asian descent, and the youngest Prime Minister for, I think, 200 years, since Disraeli. So he's just over 40, I think. So it's a remarkable achievement for somebody who went to Winchester School, Oxford and Stanford. He is known as a bit of a globalist. He's one of those merchant bankers. I believe he worked for Goldman Sachs. So the markets definitely favoured him over, certainly over Liz Truss. So the markets have kind of got their way. They've got their man, if you like. But there'll be a lot of people that will not be happy, and that's the 200,000 rank and file Conservative members. These are the ordinary members who are paying their £25 a year, and usually these are the people that are out leafleting and campaigning and knocking on your door. Because when an MP comes in, they've got thousands and thousands of doors to knock on. Their population of their constituency could be 100,000 people, so they can't do it all themselves. The councillors can't do it all themselves. I was a councillor, so I know this. And then so they get the members and they rally the members to support the party. But these are like the pawns on the chessboard, if you like, and they've been ignored. They're supposed to get a vote on the new leader, but the men in grey suits, the 1922 committee, the MPs have rushed this through. They said you need 100 MPs to be on the list of candidates, knowing that Rishi would get that and that the other candidates would struggle, and they've rushed it through. This normally would take several weeks, and they'd have maybe some hustings, and then the members would vote, but they've rushed this through, and now the MPs have decided they wanted Rishi Sunak. They didn't want it to go to the party members, the rank and file, because the rank and file had already rejected Rishi in the last vote against Liz Truss. So the MPs have got rid of Boris, the people's choice. They've got rid of the choice of the rank and file, Liz Truss, who was going to cut taxes and go for growth. They've got rid of her Chancellor, and now they have the person they wanted originally, which is Rishi Sunak. And the buzzword that everybody's saying, Macron said it, the Irish Premier said it, lots of MPs, but we need stability in the market, stability. So that's what's been happening, and the markets have actually favoured this. They've even the long-term borrowing rates have come down a bit by 0.25%, so that should help with fixed rate mortgages, and I believe some of the fixed rate mortgages already came down this morning. But it's really what you're looking at, the markets, IMF, World Bank, World Economic Forum. These are the people that want the Rishi Sunak in this world to be running the country, because that's their overall agenda. So that's what's happening. As I said, a lot of people are not going to be happy about it, but that's the way it is. You have to accept it and get on with things. But who will be Chancellor? Well, Rishi Sunak was, of course, the former Chancellor. He resided over a period when the country was obviously in a few problems with what was going on in 2020 and all these sorts of things. So yeah, he's resided, but now he's left the country with the biggest debt ever, 2 trillion. They spent 400 billion during that 2021 period. Well, we know what was happening there. So there's been a lot of comments on Twitter this morning from Conservative members saying, you know, you walked out on Boris and left the job. You were supposed to be running the economy, and you walked out of it, stabbed him in the back. You preside, you know, you've left us in this financial problem. So who are you to say you can come in and sort it out? But others have been congratulating him, of course. So not everyone is unhappy. But whether he will unite the party, I don't know. He's got certainly most of the MPs favour him, but we shall see. We shall see what he does, how he performs. The tax cuts that Liz Truss wanted have already been reversed by Jeremy Hunt, the Chancellor. Whether he will stay on as Chancellor, possibly. He may stay on because I think changing chancellors might spook the markets. The markets, oh my God, the markets. But the pound has risen slightly. In fact, the pound had already bounced back from that parity that it was at with the dollar. But it's making it cheap for tourists. There are lots of tourists in London spending money and buying stuff. So that's good in one way, but it makes it very difficult for everything else that we buy, including our gas and oil supplies, which are all priced in dollar, the reserve currency of the world. And, you know, whatever happens, you know, the government can't sort your problems out, can't sort all our problems out. They can do so much. They can lay the groundwork and bring the economic conditions, but they're not going to sort out all our problems. So we have to, you know, row our own boat. And in fact, you know, the Conservatives have not done particularly property investors any favours since George Osborne in 2015, you know, brought in this extra stamp duty, this 3% surcharge, made it more difficult to claim tax relief on your interest. But at the same time, he favoured big business, big institutions buying property by giving them tax breaks and you know, allowing them, if they were buying multiple properties, you didn't suffer this surcharge. So since then, the institutions have been apparently buying up lots of properties, thousands of properties. Lloyds Bank wants to be the biggest landlord in the country, and you know, apparently they will own about 15% of the market. So we shall see what happens there. But certainly they've made the conditions favourable for these institutions, whilst really making it more difficult and life far more difficult for the private landlords. And the latest thing comes out is that they're going to abolish Section 21 no-fault evictions. So that could be, you know, the end of a lot of small landlords. So that's the kind of conditions that a government can set to boost business. But you still have to go out there and do it. You still have to go and buy. No one's going to give you a property. You still have to make the effort and buy the properties. You can't manifest it, sitting there going, oh, mom, the money will come. You have to kind of do these things yourself, as I'm sure most of you are aware. So the country faces a tough winter ahead. 8 million people, as I was saying the other day, are estimated by the BBC to be falling behind with bills. We've got 10% inflation, and we know it's more than 10%. That's the official rate. We know it's more than that. And fuel bills going through the roof. Everything is hitting us at one time. And of course, this is among other problems we've got going around the world with Ukraine and the war going on there, problems in China. Even today, they were talking about tensions with North and South Korea, shooting at each other in the water. So there's always, people always want your lunch. They want your bit of territory, don't they? It's like, you know, people stepping over your side of the garden to put their fence in that part. You know, it's always been the way, hasn't it? Wars and extra territory and power. But the other situation that's coming up is that 100,000 people a month, according again to the BBC, will reach the end of their fixed rate mortgages every month, right? So this is going to be a big problem for 100,000 people who could see their mortgage go from 2-ish% to over 6%, which is the current sort of 2 and fixed year deals. That's a 300% rise. That's a lot of money. So your payments could go up from £500 to £1,500 a month. I mean, that is scary stuff. And you know, if you're already tight, if you've already calculated your payments, you've got a big mortgage around your neck, you've only just bought in the last couple of years when everyone's scrambling to buy, you know, during the 2021, there were people queuing up to buy and paying over the asking price. Will that, you know, come to haunt them now? where they've perhaps stretched themselves a little bit, but they're up to their neck in it. And when you buy a property and when you buy a new home to live in, you're always then spending money on other things. You'll get new kitchens in, extensions and new furniture, perhaps on borrowed money again. And that could be a big problem for people who are stretched already with the bills and the fuel and everything and food going up to, 10-15% in some cases. Now that they could face these fixed rates coming to an end. Now, of course, in America, you haven't got that problem because they've got long-term 30-year fixed rates. That's not a big problem for them, but it is a problem for here. So what can you do to protect yourself from the coming recession? Well, followers of mine know that, and by the way, if you're watching this, wherever you're watching, it's going out on Facebook Live, it's going on YouTube, it's on my podcast as well. Please like and share this, for the record, because it does help with the algorithms, whatever they are. It helps get my free content out to people. But do like and share, subscribe, whatever, But what can you do to protect yourself? Well, look, followers of mine know that I recommend my YouTube training on managing your money better, growing your wealth by investing wisely, and certainly my smart course talks about getting your finances in order. But what if you've done that already? What if you've done as much as you can, and you've scrimped and saved, and you've economized, and you've cut back on things, you've paid off your credit cards? What if you've done that and you're still in a problem here? Well, the answer is you need to generate more revenue, because like any company, the accountants and the bean counters can come in and cut costs, but then they still need to generate revenue. Otherwise, the company will still go down. You can't just cut your way out of it. You've got to eventually make more money. And that could be by getting a part-time job. It could be by changing jobs, getting a raise, or just doing something else to earn money. But it could also be by having a side hustle, a little extra income, which I've often recommended on my channel. I've recommended friends of mine who are running different trainings. And one of my friends, Paul, has developed a simple yet effective system for generating tens of thousands of pounds every month using a free software tool. You know what this free software, and I tell you, you'd be amazed. You know what this free software package is? This free thing you can use, a platform that you can use that's absolutely free. Do you know where he generates it? No, it's not on Facebook. It's on LinkedIn. I said, LinkedIn? What, LinkedIn? I think I've been on LinkedIn for years. I've got 10,000 followers on LinkedIn, but I've never made any money on LinkedIn. I never get much engagement on LinkedIn, but Paul has developed a system to do just that. And he's making tens of thousands. I mean, he made like over 50 in the last month. So I'm telling you, this guy is really killing it on using this LinkedIn. So I put some details up there of how to create a 4-figure second income using LinkedIn. He's got an event, and it's actually later tonight. It's actually early hours of tomorrow, because it's aimed at kind of the American audience. So it is rather late tonight, but if you can stay up for it, 1 a.m. UK time. If you're in other parts of the world, maybe it doesn't matter so much, but I know it's late, but do try and log on if you can, because as Paul said, how would several £100s, dollars, euros help you? I mean, I'm sure if you had a bit of extra month, even if it was a few hundred a month, that could make a huge difference for people facing higher bills, inflation, possible higher mortgage rates. We can move on. I think we will be seeing a period of austerity. The tax cuts promised have gone now. So companies are going to be paying more tax. We're going to be paying more tax. And there'll be possible cuts in services as well, government spending. And that affects a lot of the economy, because if government stops spending money, things do start to slow down, especially if you're dealing with companies and business. If you're in a business where you depend on government spending. And I've been through that position myself. So hopefully things will settle down. But until then, I will let you get on with your day. Thanks for tuning in on Facebook Live and on my YouTube channel and on iTunes and Spotify and all those things. But do like and share wherever possible, because it helps with the algorithms. Okay, so thanks for listening, and bye for now.